think maybe the first thing to talk about is media research is kind of a very broad term, and you know, we've all spent a lot of time working in the industry, but in different areas. There are a lot of different specialties within media research, and all of them very interesting. I, for example, work in the sales area of research. Howard, you've done a number of different areas. Analytics, currently your key area of responsibility. Dossie, I take it more programming focused at this point?
Yes.
Yeah. So there are a number of different specialties, and people can certainly start out with a broader role or can start out with a more specialized one. I think we've all probably followed some different paths to come to where we are now. But I think in thinking about what it is that you're interested in, you definitely should give some thought to these different areas of research. Probably the most consumer-focused area is the program research area. And Dossie, maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you reach out to understand what your viewers are really looking for, how you anticipate what they're looking for, just to give a sense of the group of what that specialty is about. Okay.
Well, you heard Howard say that he was Chief Revenue Officer. We spend a lot of money buying Nielsen data and various other data that are out there measuring exactly that, and through all the various platforms, trying to get a handle on that. In fact, what is maybe most relevant to, as I gaze around the audience here, this particular generation, is that some colleagues of mine at Time Inc. actually were doing some research with consumers recently, and they published some of the findings, and I was talking with Barry Martin, I guess some of you guys know him, Betsy Frank, and it's all interconnected, the research world. And and they have been trying to better understand how social media is in fact impacting media consumption in the traditional sense, television or television on any platform, be it an iPad or a mobile phone, iPhone, whatever. And so they had these two cool sort of designations for the various, for what would mostly be, the generation of folks that were born always knowing, being hyper-connected, always, having a mobile device or a computer or some sort of online experience. And they call them digital natives. And then the people who come to, social media, connected through an iPhone, whatever, and these various platforms are the digital immigrants, right? Usually it's a generational thing, because the younger you are, the more contact you've had with it from birth, basically. And so I thought that was really fascinating, because if you're indeed looking for a job, most of you in media research, as you've heard up here, you're right on the front lines as being the generation that is, born with this more or less and using this regularly. So, that's your best marketing, marketable skill actually when seeking out a job like that, is because you have firsthand knowledge of that. And as far as HBO goes, we're a subscription business, so what we want to do is retain our subscribers, and so if we can give them our content, which we hope they want to watch True Blood and Game of Thrones, we want them to be able to watch it on their terms, and so that's a big part of the equation. And that's really, it's not just reaching to a younger generation per se, it's reaching to a generation that in fact is embracing what we're talking about here about technology, and the research aspect of it is constantly sort of figuring out what that is, if that's sort of an answer to the question.
Can I mention something about jobs?
Sure. Yeah.
So here's the deal. If you're in research now, this is like the golden era of research, okay? You guys are golden, because research has never been more highly regarded in this business. I mean, as you can see, I've done this for a very, very long time. And when I began, almost nobody, certainly creatives, would ever want to acknowledge getting research. Sometimes they wanted it slipped under the door in a brown paper envelope, but they would never acknowledge it. It's gotten to the point now where I have to tell my management things that research can't do, because they are so heavily reliant on at least understanding what the consumer thinks. If I could invent a great show or do things that would know whether a show is going to be successful, I'd be really rich, and I'm not. So the reality is, it's very hard to do this stuff. But research is hugely valued. So, and to your point, it's very simple. There's two kinds of research. There's primary research where you talk to consumers, and then there's secondary research where you deal with databases like Nielsen's database or things like they're called MRI or Siemens, which are, kinds of, big databases of information. The two require different kinds of skill sets, okay? I mean, the primary research guys are people who really have social science skills. You have to know, whether it's psychology, sociology, or whatever that might be, you got to know how to formulate a question, write a questionnaire, figure out the best way to kind of do the research, analyze the data, and tell the story, okay? That's one, so if you're in that social science world, great opportunity for you. On the other hand, if you're really good with numbers, if for some reason you get off on a pivot table, I don't know who does that, but somebody might, then, Howard's world is really your area because it's the analytics. And that is also very huge. There's something now called big data. Okay, and what that really is about, it's Google, think Google, okay? It's getting a huge amount of data and figuring out and using analytics and algorithms and all those kinds of things to sort of understand what's going on. And so all I'm saying is, I mean, you speak to a lot of, younger people who are looking for work, and most of them are gonna have a really hard time getting it. If you have the skill set and you're good at this stuff, trust me, it's a buyer's market. I mean, do you guys agree in terms of?
I totally agree. I have an 18-year-old son that's going into college, and I said, and I told him, go and get involved in the communications department and learn about, media and media studies. He's got it in his head. He wants to become a sports agent, so I'll just let him kind of figure it out. But it is, I would just tell, young folks getting involved and having a passion for this business. And it is. I think we're here and we've been doing this because we truly love what we do. It's something new every day. I learn something new every day. And what I would tell, everyone here, where the value is being able to be a storyteller with the data. Just being what I would say a data robot and just churning out tables, that's not where it is. That's where I started and I learned from that, and you still need to learn as that being your base. But those folks that can go out there and tell a story to people, still senior management, when you say rating and calculation, they kind of back off a little. But once you can kind of tell that story to them and in a way that lay people can understand, you really become an insider to the C-level folks over there. There isn't a week that goes by that the CEO of my company asks me questions about how certain programs are doing, or how things going in regard to our strategy with digital. Better understanding the VOD world, getting rankers on social media. Those are things that they want to understand better, because this is a language that's being spoken now, to folks from ad sales, programming, marketing, and affiliate sales. So, the only thing that I would say is that's why I'm here. I love this business. And I want more quality people coming into this business. Again, supply and demand. We need good people.